The DHS reignites the debate of privacy versus security on domestic flights, as latest data shows most Americans don't have a federal compliant ID to board an airplane. One America's Kristian Rouz has more.
Unfortunately, right now, we're about at 35% of IDs that we see out there in circulation are real IDs.
Acting DHS Secretary Chad Wolf is expressing concerns about the low rate of participation in the Real ID program. In a House testimony, Wolf said his department is urging state DMVs to ramp up the issuance of Real ID driving licenses to meet the October 1st deadline. After that date, people without a Real ID compliant card will have to carry a passport to board even domestic flights in the U.S.
This is a security issue. We encourage them to continue to issue cards. All 50 states and territories are compliant, but not everyone is issuing cards. We still have some states that have not issued Real ID cards.
The Real ID program was introduced 14 years ago in response to the 9/11 attacks to let the TSA know who exactly is boarding every flight in the U.S. The program would bar people who pose a flight safety risk from flying, but it predictably sparked concerns of privacy and immigration enforcement. On one hand, privacy advocates say for decades Americans didn't need any ID to board an airplane.
To comply with Real ID, you've got to share back-end data about everybody. If the DHS forgets about the politics and try to enforce this at the airport, you're going to hear about it too. Because that would cause a real conflagration.
On the other hand, advocates for illegal aliens say Real ID poses a threat of deportation, as immigration enforcement may be able to access DMV data on Real ID compliant cards. Several states, such as California, say they don't share data with the federal government and that illegals have nothing to worry about, even though reports claim California DMV apparently has no problem selling ID information to third parties.
So the data is names, addresses, and then potentially zip codes, email addresses and phone numbers, sort of basic personal information. But the way it's being sold is to a wide array of industries. This is a government department taking data that you legally have to provide when you get a driver's license, and then turning around and making a profit out of that.
The DHS says it will now allow citizens to submit their documents electronically to get a Real ID. In addition, Acting Secretary Wolf says the DHS may request a legislative relief from Congress, saying the 2006 law didn't take into account present-day capabilities of data sharing in the electronic form. It remains unclear if the department's latest push to boost Real ID participation rates will succeed.
Continue to assess the compliance rates. We're asking for information from all states on a monthly basis to determine, as we move closer and closer to that October 2020 date, what will be the state of compliance.
In the meantime, Wolf says the DHS is talking to the TSA and airline companies to prevent possible disruptions in domestic flights. It remains to be seen what officials will do if the majority of Americans find themselves disqualified from flying come October. Kristian, Rouz, One American News.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.